Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Joe. Welcome back to another episode of Inside Our Phillies. It is Friday late afternoon, and here to talk about everything that's happened over the last several days, we have Jeremy. How's it going, Jeremy?
Good.
Glad to have you here. And we also have Giles. How are you doing, Giles?
Just as good.
Nice. Happy Friday to everybody. Hope that everybody is looking forward to decent weekend. Enjoy these last weekends with tolerable weather here on the East Coast. So a lot of Phillies news has happened in the last week. So let's jump right through that. Starting with what happened with the options. I don't think this first one was much of a surprise, but Harrison Bader declined his portion of the $10 million option that he had for next year. Phillies accepted their half. Bader declined his half of the mutual option. So Harrison Bader is now a free agent. We'll go to you first, Jeremy. What do you think of that, and how much interest do you have in retaining Harrison Bader?
Oh, I definitely want to sign him again. Just because his defense, he's a way higher floor than Johan Ross. Great defense, and he can actually make contact decently. And a 250 hitter seems very possible with him. So, and of course, mutual options never get picked up. Yeah. So,
Yes.
anyone hoping that was just being insane.
Yeah, we mentioned on this podcast to not expect that to get picked up, even though I saw lots of chatter on Reddit and Twitter and other places that it might. What about you, Giles?
It's basically the same here. Even with the regression that he's probably going to see, I think a little bit of next year, he's miles better than anything else they have. I think they'd be really foolish to not make a serious effort to try and bring him back. Not shocked that he didn't pick it up. He's worth more than $10 million, I think.
Yeah,
Are you?
Sorry, no, because you have like the combination of I've talked this verbatim. There is no right-handed bats in the free agent market, so that were like you have him and Lirano, but Lirano's not really a center field anymore. So right-handed center fielder who is decent. Bader is the only one in free agency. So.
And he is from the right side, which there's hardly any of on the free agent market. The question that I really have is, like, are you okay with Harrison Bader getting brought back if it blocks Justin Crawford?
I don't see him blocking Crawford. I think Crawford's just going to go into a corner spot.
Is Crawford...
I think it depends on what they do in free agency, really. I think they're going to bring Bader back. I think that's just a no-brainer. I think whether he ends up blocking Crawford or not is sort of dependent on whether the Phillies also go and try and get Kyle Tucker or some other big free agent outfielder to replace Castellanos when he inevitably gets thrown into the garbage. So
sure.
I don't think Bader is really the deciding factor of that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that because we say we sign Bader, so this. I'm gonna list the right-handers in our lineup. You have JT, you would have Bader, you have Turner, you have Bohm. That's 4 out of 9. That's a fine right-handed mix. And so then you have 5 lefties, and two of them happen to be in the outfield. Who cares?
I mean, but those you get no power from the right side, then, right? You're getting maybe 15 from Bader, around the same from JT, a little less out of Bohm. You're still lacking the power from the right side, and Crawford is expected to come up. Crawford's a righty, or am I wrong? I'm probably wrong right now.
No, he's lefty. Crawford's lefty. No, Crawford's lefty. But the problem is there are no power righty hitters available. There are none.
Yeah.
So,
I think personally, obviously, Aiden Miller is going to break camp with the team, and he's going to hit 40 home runs in his rookie season, and we're not going to have to worry about the right-handed power issue.
Yeah, that's the dream.
No, Aiden Miller is just hilarious. Everyone was so up on his power potential, and then all of a sudden we were just like, oh my god, he's fast as fuck.
Yeah, I mean he's a real stolen base.
He walks like a ton too, from what I've seen last year.
He had 59 stolen bases last year. Who the hell saw that coming?
I feel like we've seen a big shift in the perception of Painter versus Miller. Actually, Baseball America released their top 10 prospects in the Phillies farm system, and currently they have Aiden Miller as number 1, with Painter behind him. But going back to Justin Crawford and Bader, Justin Crawford, to me, I feel like he has to play center field. I don't know if hitting the ball into the ground and just hoping that being fast can get you out of trouble. I don't know if that's going to work in a corner outfield position long term. Like I question if that's good enough.
I mean, but what if you put him in center and Bader in right, Bader in center and Crawford in right? What's the difference? They're still both playing.
I guess.
I think also
like I was saying,
that you got to realize that Crawford's ground ball is like 60% or something, and for last year, I believe. And if it's like 55%, he all of a sudden that's not really a massive concern for him, because it's sort of a fine line between whether it's unplayably awful with the ground ball rate or it's passable. If he could just turn into like a Marsh, maybe hits 7-8 home runs a year or whatever Marsh hits, and just has doubles as his power, that's fine for me in his corner outfield spot. I just don't want him to turn into Alec Boehm, but left field and fast. That's what I don't want him to turn into.
Right.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, like I am less concerned with big power hitters these days. I want someone that can make contact and hit a meatball. I don't care if it's a double, even if I need someone who can make contact on a meatball. And if that works, that works. Like, I'm tired of the home run.
Justin Crawford's isolated power. I'm trying to find his isolated power right now.
Not very good.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's going to be a pretty sad stat. But this is very difficult to find in like my quick searching right now.
Okay, I'm on Fangraphs, so I don't know. I never really use their stuff, but the prospect reports their game power is 20 out of 30 and raw power 45 out of 55. I have no idea what that means.
Well, with the ground balls too, you're not going to be hitting.
His ISO
on the 0 to 80 scale.
Yeah, but like
no.
So 25 to 30, that's like pathetic.
That's bad.
In terms of the game power, that's pathetic. And 45 to 50 raw power is basically close to average.
Yeah, his ISO is 1.118.
Awful. That's awful.
Pretty bad. ISO, for those that are unfamiliar, is it's like your slugging percentage minus your batting average. So it's pretty much how many extra bases are you getting per at bat.
To compare, Ohtani's was 340.
Yeah. I mean, what's like a mediocre? Like, what's Marsh's ISO? That's probably
I was gonna say what's Marsh's.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Let me get this. 164. That's surprising.
Okay. I mean, that's a fair bit better than what Crawford was at, right? It's like
let's just try to think someone who like hits like 20 home runs. Give me a name.
Oh, I could look at JT Realmuto's from like 2022.
Oh yeah, let me just do that. Yeah.
The MLB league average
was
2023. JT was 200. Yeah. So basically 200. I think 160 to 200 is like pretty good.
League average is 140 according to Fangraphs.
Yeah. So like 160 to 200 is what you would expect from like a bat average player.
Yes. And also you have to be careful because not all 200 ISOs are created equally. Like somebody hitting 250, but with a 450 slugging, and somebody hitting 350 with a 550 slugging, they both have the same ISO, even though one player is clearly better than the other one. So
that's why I like WRC Plus so much.
Yeah, ISO is just kind of where to see the slugging percentage comes from, right? Like, is somebody getting a good slugging percentage from a bunch of doubles and a bunch of hits, or is it home runs? It's just kind of really a test to see if somebody's a slap hitter or not, essentially.
Yep.
But Justin Crawford will be interesting. How confident are you all in Justin Crawford? Give me a 1 through 10 scale. Where are you at?
I'm probably a 6. He needs to get his ground ball rate down. Anybody is pretending that, he's going to succeed the 62 to 60% ground ball rate, you're out of your mind. He's not going to succeed if it stays that high. But also, remember when he came into the team, I think his first year, it was like in the 70s. So it has dropped a ton since he's come here. So he's shown the ability to massively improve it. And he doesn't really have to improve it that much from here on out to, be good. But my doubts is just that the Phillies can't develop outfielders. So we never developed them.
How about you, Jeremy?
Yeah, Stott's our best developed draft pick since Honest. No, I mean, no, like position player. Best position player we've drafted and developed because Marsh we traded for.
Hoskins.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a big like litmus test this year because I don't think there's really much of a use to Justin Crawford kind of hanging out in AAA any longer.
No.
So
No.
I said to you
Yeah,
a little bit
trade
ago
him
that
or
this
play
is a
him.
big year for Dombrowski's draft picks.
Yeah.
Especially his first round picks. This is sort of the year where we see if it's all kind of panning out or if it's just been for naught.
Yeah, it's kind of a sink or swim year. And actually, you sent me a question earlier this week about that, and we'll bring it all now to the podcast. But for Painter, Crawford, and Miller, what does a successful season look like for you guys for them next year? I'll give my answer first, just because I had already thought about this, wrote it down when you asked me the question, Giles. But for Painter, I want to see him have some better command. Either be a very good pitcher in AAA or a passable starter in Major League Baseball, like a 4.5 ERA or something like that. With Crawford, I think we just need to see it in the majors at this point. That bat has to play at least a little bit, and I think he has to be able to become a center fielder that's at least passable, because I don't think he can really be in a corner outfield spot long term.
Yep.
Aiden Miller, I think he just has to continue his path, take a step in the power, and hopefully he can get a cup of coffee. Combined, I'd like to see these guys get 3 WAR for the Phillies next year.
Yeah, and then,
I think for me, you can go.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no. So, I would want Painter. I would want 4 or 5 ERA, maybe a little bit. If it could be a little bit higher, like if the strikeout percentage and like the swing and miss stuff is looking really good, I can deal with okay, he's having some mixed results with that. But if the swing and miss stuff is there, that's all I really care about. But as long as not like if it's over a 5 ERA because like a couple of bad starts because like he's a rookie, whatever, fine. Like remember Zach Eflin's like few years, his ERA was like over 6 and stuff, but then he had like a couple complete game shutouts. So,
Yep.
So like I'm okay with those kind of results as long as like he passes the eye test. That's all that really matters. For Crawford, Yohan Rojas put up a 771 OPS on his rookie year. I expect that if he could do that with his terrible bat to ball skills, I want at least 770 from Crawford. And then Aiden Miller, I want to see the power a little bit more. I want to see that power come in.
So for me, Painter, probably what Joe said. I want to see the swing and miss stuff come back. I want to see a lot better command than he had last year. I am interested to see if the things that I've heard about him not using his normal pitch mix are true. And then if that is true, if using his normal pitch mix more routinely will yield a lot better results. With Crawford, I just hope he comes up here and he looks competent at the plate, and I hope we see the ground ball percentage come down to like 55, 54%. That's a big criteria for success for me. And then for Aiden Miller, I'd like to see him, like Joe said, come up here for maybe end of September. And I'd like to see the power come back a little bit in AAA, cut down on the strikeouts a little bit, and I'd like to see him get some time at third base in AAA.
Yeah, and I think that like spring training this year is gonna like be low key a high pressure environment for a lot of people on the Phillies, because I think if these guys come up and look bad in spring training, not that spring training means anything, the rhetoric is going to get quite toxic.
Yes, I remember when Ohtani came to the Angels in his first season. In his like first spring training start, he got shelled. And everybody immediately jumped on, oh, he sucks. He's not going to pan out in the major leagues because of one bad spring training start. So, I mean, that'll definitely happen if like Painter comes up in his first spring training start and gives up like 4 runs in 2 innings. Like,
right.
That's going to not be pleasant to deal with.
And people are carrying a lot of Phillies anger with them through this offseason, right? Like it's going to get bad quickly if things don't start out hot for the Phillies, including in spring training, probably with these guys. But the other piece of news that we got with options over this last week, Jose Alvarado, he had his $9 million 1-year option picked up by the Phillies. So Jose Alvarado will be back with the team next year. Any thoughts on that?
I have a no-brainer.
I mean, yeah, because did it have a buyout? How much?
I think it was like a negligible buyout.
Was it like at least $1 million?
For some reason, 2 million sticks out in my head. It was
$500,000 buyout. So okay, yeah. So basically, 8.5 million is what you're paying him. That's honestly fine. His stuff was still hard. I mean, and honestly, this prevents us from going after someone again like Romano. So I'm okay with it. I don't think you would get anything better for that money. Who's a free agent reliever? And yeah,
I mean,
I'm okay with it. It's not terrible.
What about you, Giles?
Like I said, I think it's pretty open and shut, easy decision to make. He's still got really good stuff. I'm pissed off like everybody else about his suspension. He's an idiot for it. But left-handed pitching is really useful to have out of the bullpen, especially a guy with his kind of stuff. If he comes back and has just normal Alvarado type stuff, he'll be a useful piece in the bullpen again. For that isn't super expensive. So I don't really see that there's any question as to whether they should bring him back or not. I think the only reason you wouldn't want to bring him back is if you're like deeply disliking of Jose Alvarado because of the drug test and just you don't like Jose Alvarado. That's kind of the only thing I can see.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing that you probably could say is that the Phillies are quite lefty heavy in the bullpen, right? Like a lot of the guys that we trust, except for Duran, they're all left-handed, right? Like Banks, Strom, Alvarado. It's a lot of pretty high leverage lefties. Maybe you can argue Alvarado is not a high leverage lefty anymore, but something I've seen a little bit of discussion about online is if this maybe opens up the possibility of trading Matt Strom, who had his option vest, and maybe that number one frees up some money that you can get to sign a right-handed lefty. Bring a Rogers brother in here or something like that. And number two, maybe you can get a decent piece back that can help the Phillies in another way, maybe not even related to the bullpen at all. Do you think the Phillies have too many lefties in the bullpen? I'll go with you first, Giles.
I don't think so. I think Strom gets lefties and righties out pretty well. I just look at the splits. I think if there's a lot of split issues, like you have somebody out there as a lefty and just can't get right-handers out, and that's like 3 of them out there, then that sort of becomes a problem. But a lot of the guys the Phillies have out there are fully capable of getting guys out from both sides of the plate. I think it is true that they have, a shortage of right-handed options out there, but I think that's more of them just having a shortage of good right-handed options and not just having too many lefties. And I'm sure they'll find a way to address it at some point, whether that be at the deadline next season or this offseason.
What about you, Jeremy?
Yeah, well, I think we're going to see. It'd be interesting to see what all those pitchers we drafted were going to do. Like, once I feel they're going to fast track a lot to be relievers, so we'll see if any of those are good righties. Yeah, I don't think we have too many left. I mean, Banks looked really good at the end of the year. Strom, I've just been complaining all year about him, and his velocity is gone. It's more the time they were scouting on that. The Dodger series was obviously what was, besides him obviously tipping that pitch horribly. His fastball is like 91 now. So before, if he tipped it like that, it probably would have been not as bad because it was something like 95. So, Strom, I don't mind. I don't have a problem with the amount of lefties. It's the talent. Strom, I think, is going to do terrible next year unless the velocity somehow comes back, which I just still don't understand how no one was talking about this last year. No one.
Yeah. Strom, I mean, it's kind of like the rest of the Phillies, right? Where like age is just kind of catching up to a lot of these guys in different ways. I guess what I'm thinking with the whole Alvarado thing is like, Alvarado and Tyler Rogers are probably going to cost like similar amounts of money. I would probably rather have Tyler Rogers over Jose Alvarado. I mean, maybe you can still add, a Tyler Rogers or a Taylor Rogers, who's probably going to be cheaper, but also a free agent. You could add one of these guys to the team still. But I don't know if $9 million, well, it's not a ton of money in baseball terms, if it was the best way to allocate that money, especially because I feel like there's a solid chance that Alvarado just falls on his face again next year, and it's just a sunk cost like Romano was this year.
Yeah, but Taylor Rogers just screams to me as a guy we signed that was successful on like Giants and stuff that would just suck with us. I don't know, like the low strikeout numbers. I'll like, pitch to contact our team, and I just feel like he would be disaster with us.
That's fair. That's fair. What do you think about the Rogers brothers, Giles?
I don't have too much interest in them, frankly. There's reasons that SJ just said, just low strikeouts. They have the sort of profile that just screams they're going to come over here and then just suddenly evaporate into a pile of nothingness. So I'm kind of disinterested with them.
Especially since Taylor Rogers is going to be 35. So when you get a reliever who doesn't?
I mean, yeah, that's
they're both
2 years older than Trump.
Yeah, they're twins.
I thought he was older. Oh, yeah. So they're both big at 35. Tyler Rogers is the one. Yeah, Tyler Rogers scares the crap from me being ready. Taylor Rogers will at least can strike people out, but his FIP last year was not good. Yeah, he started walking more people. Yeah, the past few, his walk numbers, 2022, 2.7, 2023, 4.4, no, 2024, 3.3, then 2025, 4.1, but 5.2 with the Reds and then 2 with the Cubs, but he was area 5 with the Cubs. So, yeah, Taylor Rogers seems like he would easily be terrible with us just because his numbers clearly show he's fading.
Right.
And then, yeah.
Who decided to have two twins and name them Tyler and Taylor? I think
I don't know.
Their parents were trying to be confusing.
Yeah, so I have Ohtani's 2018 spring training stats. If you guys want that.
Yeah, let's hear
boy.
it.
Sure, let's hear.
Yeah. So in spring training in 2018, he pitched 2 games and had an ERA of 27, but that was only in 2 innings though. So so he didn't look great.
Sucked.
And then batting wise in spring training in 2018, he hit 125, no home runs or anything. So he looked terrible in spring training. So everyone was just memeing on it, and then of course he had Rookie of the Year.
The funny thing is, you look at Shohei's 2018, and that was so much worse than he's been for the past several years. The growth that he had from being a 3 WAR player to the 9 WAR player that he was in 2024.
Well, no, I think that time off, that first time John, I think he just worked on his batting.
Yeah.
2019, and then 2020, no one gives a crap about what happened in 2020. And then, but he only pitched a couple games in 2020. And so, but then 2021, boom, 46 home runs, and he's just taken off since.
Crazy. This guy's only 30 years old, and he already has 51.5
he's 31.
WAR.
No, he's 31. Birthday's in July. Yeah.
Age 30 season. Sorry, that was what I meant. He just had his age 30 season, but you're completely right. Cool.
So was Mike Trout. That's all Shohei Ohtani cost us.
Yeah, man. Crazy that the Angels blew it all. But
imagine if those 2 guys played in the same team for 3 or 4 years. Can you imagine that? That'd be crazy.
Couldn't even make the playoffs, right?
Yeah, but people like saying that 2018 and 2019 were really the only ones. And Ohtani was still good, but he wasn't amazing. He had 18 home runs, 22 home runs, and the 18 home runs. Only played 104, 106 games in 18 and 19. And then Trout, Trout
was a 6 WAR player.
Yeah, but 18 and 19 would be 9.9, 7.9. But then after that, 2020, that's when after 2019, Trout only had 1 great year, which was 2022, but that was only 119 games. So Trout was injured when Ohtani was a superstar. It's at 2022. 2022 is when they should have done better, but
just let us meme on the Angels. Let's just we don't need the details here. Let's just meme on the Angels for being a joke of an organization that should be.
Oh, I know. They still should have done better than that. Yeah, they still should have done better than what they did. But
I mean, them not trading Ohtani when Ohtani would have probably, even as a rental, completely fixed their farm system is unbelievable.
Well, the funny thing is they were in a playoff spot, then they clearly lost every game afterwards. So that was just funny.
Yeah, and I almost think partially is that the cost for Ohtani would have been so high for a lot of teams. A lot of teams were just sort of you know what? Let's just wait until he hits free agency and just, get him there for something that's probably going to hurt less than, selling literally our entire farm system to get this guy for, half a season.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
yeah, I really do, yeah, I don't yeah, it's one of those guys, like, I think his value was too high that no one was gonna trade, like
Yeah, I think they had that issue with Trout in like 2017 and 2018, where they just his value's too high and there's no way to trade him.
well, they signed to extend
Right?
they signed Trout to the
Yeah,
extension, that was the
prior
problem.
to the extension, I guess
Oh,
that would apply.
well, no, I put it because it's like because like, imagine if you trade Ohtani and those prospects do fucking nothing.
Yep.
It's just one of those untradeable player. Like, look at Betts. They traded him for nothing.
Yep. That's a risky run when you make trades for prospects so they can turn out into
Well, the
nothing.
thing, the Betts thing was mostly the reason they didn't get good prospects. That was like a stupid salary dump.
I watched a video recently on the Pirates talking about their failures the last 10 years or so. And it's just and they traded for these three guys who turned out into nothing. They traded for these two guys who never made the major leagues. And it's just like, oh my God.
Brutal, right?
Prospect roulette is real and it's incredibly real. If you lose it,
Oh
it
yeah,
looks really, really bad.
but yeah, Henry Davis went first overall in 2021. But I mean, looking back, that draft doesn't look
Yeah, the draft looks
great.
terrible.
Yeah,
Like,
because Leiter has been a bust. I mean, he was better. He was decent last year, but he was nowhere near as what he was supposed to be. And then Kalzer has been a bust. Like, you have to go to the first player over 5 WAR is Sal Frelick, and that he was
yep.
drafted 15th. And then you have Colton Montgomery, Gavin Williams, and then Jackson Merrill is by far like the steal of the draft at 27th.
Of course, the 2 years where we were really awful and had top picks, like 2016 and 2017.
Oh yeah, the worst
those
drafts.
were the years where we had the just most disappointing bleh drafts ever, with no standout like superstars during the draft. Of course,
I mean, you can find some names if you look hard enough still, right?
But,
No,
at the time
no.
of the draft, there was nobody that was like hyped
Sure.
up as this is a Bryce Harper or Steven Strasburg level talent.
Yeah. Well, like Senzel, I think was AJ Puck was like for a while he was, and then you had
Will Smith, Nick Lodolo were top 41 picks, both of them. Pete Alonso, Bo Bichette in that draft. Like, there's still players there.
No. I'm looking in the first round. You have Will Smith with 21 WAR, and the next higher player is Nick Lodolo at 8.5. That draft was terrible.
Mickey Moniak first overall, baby.
So funny.
No, and then what's his face with Jay Groom went 12th, and he was the one all of us Philly fans wanted, and he never made the majors.
I thought Kyle Lewis was going to be so good.
God.
Yeah.
The real fun one was next year where we drafted another, small, undersized center fielder with no power. That was
he was like the best.
That was fun.
He was rated the top college bet though.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just speaks to sort of the class that they were dealt with there.
I know he hit 390 in Virginia. So
yep. They looked okay in 19, and they just evaporated after that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that draft was probably worse than the 2016 one, even though it had some better pitchers. Casey Gore, Hunter Green, Trevor Rogers. I don't know. I think that the 2016 draft.
You look after. Yeah, no. So you look after Hazley, since of course we didn't have the first overall pick. Trevor Rogers at 9. Drafted by the Marlins. I did not. Oh, Trevor Rogers. I'm thinking about that's right. Yeah, and then David Peterson at 20 at 6.7.
We're talking about all of the T. Rogers today.
Yeah,
there's too many Rogers in baseball.
And then Drew Rasmussen, who didn't even sign with the Rays. So and then Brent Rooker, who didn't break out until tossing deal
last
whatever.
Year.
So like 2-3 years ago. But there's no one like, damn it, why didn't we get these guys after Hazley?
Right. We are getting very off track. So let's get back to Phillies land here with the big news of a signing that the Phillies made this week. Guy that I have a jersey of, Bryan De La Cruz, has been signed to a minor league contract with an invitation to spring training. Former division rival for multiple years on the Marlins. I spent some time with the Braves this year. SJ, what do you think about Bryan De La Cruz being a Philly? Is he the right-handed outfielder that this team needs?
No, he's that player that we keep on the roster all year who's going to be terrible. We never drop until like August for some stupid reason.
Fair enough.
There's always one. There's always one.
No, so
Bryan
what he's going to be,
De La Cruz.
slight adjustment to that. What he's going to be is he's going to be the guy comes up in spring training and he like hits really well, but he doesn't make the roster. And it's like, oh, why didn't Bryan De La Cruz make the roster? And then in June or July, whenever somebody inevitably gets hurt, everybody's gonna be like, yeah, we're calling up Bryan De La Cruz after he's hitting like 350 in AAA or something. He's gonna come up, and then 5 games later, everybody's gonna be like, oh my god, this guy's terrible. Jesus, get him off the roster. It's gonna be just like that left-handed center fielder guy they had back
Cal
in
Stevenson.
2023. Or 2024. Adam Stevens. Cal Stevenson.
Cal Stevenson. Yeah.
Right-handed Cal Stevenson. That's what De La Cruz is.
Yeah, what did Cal Stevenson hit in the minors 2024? Yeah, hit 302, OPS of 907 with no powers. But like, yeah, I remember my dad was just like, "Oh, we gotta bring up Cal Stevenson." I was like,
"He's got to hit leadoff. He's got to come up and hit leadoff, guys." I remember that from WIP.
Yeah. 5'9" center fielder with no power. Totally going to be the key.
But he made that one catch that one time,
which I think was also about bad route.
Would you rather have every single day Nick Castellanos in right field or Bryan De La Cruz in right field?
Bryan De La Cruz.
I agree. I totally agree. De La Cruz for you too, SJ?
No,
he's looking at Fangraphs.
I'm looking at everything. Like he's worse than Castellanos.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
They're basically the same. They're basic like, oh well, no, this guy was in 16 games. Ugh. Oh boy. Yeah. Oh, he's
Bryan,
awful.
Yeah. Like 2022, 2021 through 2023, he's basically replacement level. Ever since 2024, he's been god awful.
But does he cost $20 million to be god awful?
Yeah, fine. Yes, if I could trade Castellanos' contract to have if I'm going to Cruz my field, I'd be sure. Why not? But we're going to still be 20. If we're going to start by De La Cruz, I would keep Castellanos at this point. Like, I would just give it Castellanos. No. Well, I would give it to him for the clubhouse. I'll give it Castellanos for the clubhouse. But
Bryan De La Cruz, I don't want to look at him anymore.
He is OPSing 925 right now in the Dominican Winter League. That's big time.
Yes.
No, but
I mean, I always liked his like build and his like stance. So I always was sure thought he was going to be something more than he was. I mean,
yeah. I mean, he's probably never going to play for the Phillies or maybe get like 10 games.
He just sounds like generic, forgettable outfield bench player. Like his name just sounds like that. Like
I know
you're playing MLB The Show and some computer generated player for the outfield.
That is a great point. He's definitely one of those kind of guys.
I mean, I'd rather have him than Weston Wilson.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
I would think he was a better outfielder than Weston Wilson.
Yeah. Let's get into the next discussion point. The Major League Baseball, they have announced their finalists for all of the big awards. So let's kind of go over. We actually also got a question from Blandzilla, like what are the Phillies' chances of winning each of their finalist roles and all of the votes. So let's kind of go through each of these. So the National League MVP finalists, you have Shohei Ohtani, Juan Soto, Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber is going to finish second in this race, right?
Oh.
For me, first off, I think it's just ridiculous. I think it's just old head counting stat people. That's why Schwarber is up there. Schwarber isn't even, I don't think, the most valuable player on the Phillies. I like Schwarber. This is not a hit on Schwarber. The Phillies had a lot of valuable players this year, but I don't think he's even the most valuable player on the team this year. And I think Shohei and Soto are miles ahead of him. I think, honestly, he should finish third.
Fair enough. What about you, Jeremy?
Well, I think he should finish second, but I agree that if anyone's going to from the Phillies should have been nominated. I mean, it should have been Trey Turner.
Yes.
Like, guy won the batting title, had a WAR over 5, played great defense, was robbed of a
Elite
Gold
base
Glove,
runner.
or at least nominated. Yeah. So like, yeah, like he had a very quiet year for some reason, Turner, because like his power wasn't there in the first half.
Look at his.
But yeah, Soto. I mean, he's a typical like power like numbers guy, but he is not an MVP player. Just the way like the Padres clubhouse with him, and then the Mets clubhouse with him, like he isn't that guy.
Right.
Like just I mean that's just my vibes, and I feel
Just
like
to back up your point with Turner and Schwarber. Schwarber had like an F4 of 5 this year, and Turner has an F4 6.7. So I mean, they're not. It's not that they're even like apart. They're not super close either.
If Turner didn't get hurt, it would have been him, I think.
Yeah, by far. And only 141 games for Turner to get 6.7. He doesn't. If he plays all 162, he gets over 7.
Amazing year by Trey. Amazing year.
Ohtani still had like 47 innings of under 3 ERA. So it's like I mean close.
Yes. Yeah. Shohei Ohtani is going to win that award.
But no. So, but I mean, like I talked about this you offline, Joe. But like I said, at this point, we have the Cy Young, and next year we're gonna have the reliever award. Let's just get rid of MVP and just call it the Stan Musial Best Hitter Award, because no one wants a field in this day and age. No one wants a sexy fielder to win MVP ever. So it's just going to be the coolest hitter.
I'm just thinking, at what point do you think it's possible that Shohei Ohtani wins both MVP and Cy Young Award?
I thought he should have. Let me look at the comparisons.
I think it'll be tough just because we're looking at a world where Paul Skeens is going to be in the National League for a while, and Tariq Skubal is probably also going to be in the National League. He's probably going to be getting traded, and the most likely trade candidates the Mets. So
Justin Verlander won the Cy Young in 2022 with the ERA of 175, ERA plus of 218. But like Ohtani wins the MVP because of he hits this wall plus his pitching.
Yeah.
But his pitching numbers that year was 2.33, 166 innings, 219 strikeouts. He had 34 more than Verlander, and his ERA plus was 172. Like he pitched that well and hit that well. He should have won Cy Young that year. I don't care.
So
it's just the thing is like if the MVP is clearly the way they phrase it. Oh, he pitched that well and pitched the well. But I hit the pitcher and hit like, oh my god, the pitcher was that good at hitting too. He's the best pitcher.
It's pretty hard to argue that Shohei Ohtani is not like the most valuable player in baseball.
That's right. Like he should have won it over Judge. He should have won it over Judge. That deal. Like I don't care how good Judge is historically.
I think unless he has an injury and he can't pitch, there's no reason he's not the most valuable player in baseball. It's the only possible way that he isn't. I think also a year when he was pitching, where Judge had that 60 plus home run season. Judge was actually more than both of Shohei's WAR combined.
I know, but I don't. But I don't give a crap about 10.8 BWAR versus Shohei's 9.6. But still, the guy had an 870 OPS, 34 home runs, and put those pitching numbers. How is that more valuable than one hitter?
Yeah.
I don't care how good Judge was. No one was more valuable. No one can be that more valuable than a guy who pitches that well and hits that well. No one can.
Because he's an all-star level at both. But speaking of the pitching, Cy Young finalists, the National League. We also have a nominee from the Phillies. The finalists for the National League Cy Young are Paul Skeens, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and Chris Sanchez. Now, this is not based on the playoffs, so I do expect Sanchez to finish ahead of Yamamoto and come in second to Skeens. You all agree?
Yes, people need to remember that voting happens before the playoffs in every sport, and they always want to complain with the people that don't pay attention.
So I just don't care about playoff stats. I've made this pretty clear. I don't really buy into playoff stats in terms of evaluating a player's overall season.
Below sample size.
Yeah, the small sample sizes. So, I think Sanchez had an outstanding year, and people should be exceedingly excited for him in the future. But he's not the Cy Young Award winner, and that's going to be all Skeens to lose for a while for this foreseeable future.
He had a higher WAR. He pitched more innings.
I think Sanchez could get some votes. I think
He'll
this
get
is
votes.
going to be.
Oh, yeah.
And he had 4 less strikeouts. The only difference is 15 less runs.
Unlike the MVP award in the National League, where I think it is going to be unanimous, I don't think it's going to be an unanimous, Cy Young Award in the National League. I think the Sanchez will probably get a small handful of first place votes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 15 run differential, but in more innings. So again,
right.
Yeah,
it's a hard
almost 20. Oh yeah, almost 20 more innings. So
Sanchez this year is a harder sell than Wheeler was in the year that Burns won, right? Like Wheeler, right. I think should have won. Sanchez probably should not win, but it's a similar argument that you're kind of making as you did with Wheeler back then.
Similar argument,
Wheeler definitely should have won, and I would not be upset if Sanchez loses because Skeens just
totally fair. Now, the award that the Phillies might be the most likely to take home is the National League Manager of the Year award, with Pat Murphy from the Brewers, Rob Thompson from the Phillies, and Terry Francona from the Reds. I honestly have no idea who the favorite is here.
Pat Murphy. Pat Murphy's going to win, no doubt. That roster. I mean, he should lose for that stupid cringy letter from.
Oh God, no! No. Let me memory hole that. Don't bring that back up.
Yeah, no. That alone should have him disqualified and fired. But,
yeah. But I will say, for the lulls, for the anger and angst it would cause on WIP, it would be hilarious if Rob Thompson won the award. It would be hysterical.
It would be so
hysterical
funny
that he was even nominated. He was not nominated. Oh, it's the fun. People need to realize the finalists, they don't vote again. It's just the top 3 finishes.
They drag it out.
I remember the days of sitting in high school library in 2007, refreshing the page in the brunch, lunch, or whatever break I had. Rollins win MVP, Rollins and this. I was like, oh my God.
I remember. Jesus, that makes me feel not old anymore.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I've been feeling it lately.
Yeah, no. I am Papa.
What were you saying, Giles?
No, just I think it is. People have to remember how good we have it in terms of the manager right now. I get frustrated with Thompson, and everybody else does. Some of his decisions in the playoffs, but compared to what we have had in the past at manager, I think people need to just take a step back and at least in some way appreciate it, because he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Another piece of news.
I think they should have kept me. I was upset when they got rid of McCannon. So.
Oh yeah, I was too. I like
another piece of news that we had coming out was the contemporary baseball era player ballot for the Hall of Fame. So when the winter meetings come around next month, a 16-member committee is going to consider a ballot of 8 former players, and any candidate who does not receive at least 5 votes is not going to be eligible for the next ballot. And if somebody doesn't receive at least 5 votes in multiple ballots, they're never going to be able to be part of the Hall of Fame. This is, the last chance that people get to make the Hall of Fame if they did not get, elected by the baseball writers. So these are the 8 names that are going to be discussed. Which of these guys would you like to see in the Hall of Fame? We've got Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Carlos Delgado, Jeff Kent, Don Mattingly, Dale Murphy, Gary Sheffield, and Fernando Valenzuela. Any of those names stick out to any of you guys?
I've been an advocate for a while of having a steroid era section of the Hall of Fame for guys like Barry Bonds, because Bonds, but even before, he pretty obviously started using steroids in the late 90s, was a Hall of Fame player, easily first ballot Hall of Fame player. and I don't think that should be just swept under the rug and forgotten. But I don't think you should also forget that he used steroids. So I'd like to see him in there. I don't really hate pitchers who use PEDs as much. So like Clemens, because hitters can adjust to a guy throwing a little bit harder. It's a lot harder to adjust to a guy who's hitting the ball farther or who's playing more games healthy. But
it's the recovery that's also the big thing.
Yeah. I think I'd like to see Clemens and Bonds in some way or shape or form in the Hall of Fame. Kent is kind of iffy for me, but those are the three guys I sort of see as wanting it in it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy to make a case for any of these guys. I think Carlos Delgado and Gary Sheffield might have the weakest cases of these guys. Maybe not Gary Sheffield. I think Carlos Delgado has the weakest case. Bonds and Clemens, I think that you could have steroids knock you down a tier. Like instead of being inner circle, you're just kind of in the mid tier of Hall of Famers, and I think that's fair. But I think it's hard to argue that Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens aren't Hall of Famers. I also think I would like to see Don Mattingly in there. Fernando Valenzuela, I think just because of his unfortunate passing, I could see him getting some votes and probably making it in this year. He's probably actually the one I think is the most confident is going to actually make it of the ones on this ballot, which I don't know if he deserves it, but I just feel like it's coming.
Well, okay, yeah. So my thing is you got to remember the Hall of Fame isn't owned by MLB. It's a museum in buckfuck nowhere, New York, Cooperstown. Have you ever driven there? It takes like 3 fucking hours.
I've been there. I've been to Cooperstown.
I've been there. I went there for a Halliday's induction.
Oh, nice. No, I didn't go for I went. What was it? We went. Me and my dad drove in summer 2019 because I was like, I want to go. We're there for a family vacation. And it's like, fine. So we it's like 3+ hours. We also drove from New Jersey, so it took forever. But anyway, it's a museum, and so like we talk about Bond, like this stuff, these steroid players anyway. So you have a steroid portion of the museum, and then my thing is I don't want to give them a speech.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to do that.
I don't want to talk about like how like blah blah blah, and then so I'm okay with them. Like so say they should be in a museum of baseball history, and that is what the MLB Hall of Fame is. It's the biggest baseball history museum.
Yep. My favorite experience I will say from Cooperstown is there was a shop where Pete Rose and I think it was the first baseman for the Reds in the 70s, and it's escaping me right now. Were signing autographs in the shop, and we got to talk to Pete Rose for a little bit and get his autograph. And one of his autographs he signed for somebody was the amount of hits he had, and then underneath was a comment, "No steroids needed" under it or something.
Oh, that's funny.
I thought it was also just funny that he's there at Cooperstown, where the MLB, won't put him in the Hall of Fame, and it just, sort of a middle finger to him. And a little side note is, if you ever think there's no chance anybody can get into the Hall of Fame, just remember that Bill Mazeroski and his 31 career F4 are in the Hall of Fame because he hit a home run in the 1960 World Series to win the World Series. So
yes,
there's always a chance. There's always a chance to get in.
Yes. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of like every player before the 1950s that played, they're mostly in because they're like big fan favorite moments.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what it's like. Yeah. So, but like that's why like some of these like if you can't tell the story of baseball without this player, they belong in the Hall of Fame.
That's the NFL argument. That's the that's the NFL argument.
It works for MLB too. You can't tell the story.
Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer. I'm just gonna say it.
I agree. I agree with that.
MLB's Hall of Fame is more selective than any of the other ones, though. Like, it's a very high bar.
Oh yeah. The basketball one is just like, do people know your name?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like worldwide.
I know who that guy was.
Yeah. No, but where was I gonna go with this?
Well.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
No. Like I forgot. I lost my train of thought.
While you're thinking, the one time I was at the Hall of Fame, it's about time I go out for another trip, but I was there for 2014's induction weekend, which was super cool. That was the year that Maddox and Glavine and Frank Thomas, the big hurt, were inducted, awesome. And then Bobby Cox, Tony La Russa, Joe Torre. Very cool as like a 14-year-old baseball fan to be there for that. I need to go again at some point sooner rather than later. I regret not going for Ichiro's induction because Ichiro is my favorite baseball player of all time. But anyways,
Yeah. I mean, I want Utley in. I need someone from the era in.
Yes. Chase Utley, 100%. Just needs to be in the Hall of Fame. There's no excuse in my mind for him not to be in.
he's gonna get close this year. I think he'll get pretty close.
I think he gets in. I think it's going to take a little bit, but I think he's going to eventually get in. I don't think there's really any doubt about it. His prime is just too good, and even with the injuries, his production is still fine.
Yeah, well, yeah, but the thing with Utley is if he played like a few years later, he would have like in his prime, he would have more MVPs and like 4 Gold Gloves.
Yeah, he should have won the MVP a couple times with the Phillies, frankly.
Yeah, no, he should have won. Yeah, Utley should have won in 2007 and 2000 and 2006. 2005, 2006, 2007, 2009. Lowest WAR was 7.
He was so good, man. He was so good.
In 2008, he definitely should have won MVP.
Yeah.
Because where do you even finish?
My big gripe.
Yeah, so low. Yeah, he was robbed of Gold Gloves at the time.
Yep.
Like he had.
Oh God, just robbed of everything just because name recognition.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because back then, because Orlando Hudson was like, oh, he just wins the Gold Gloves. But yeah, his fielding numbers were insane.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep. And I think it's kind of laughable, and this is not to insult like Jimmy or anything, but like people are like, oh, is Jimmy Rollins going to get to the Hall of Fame? Like, oh, this is outrageous if Jimmy doesn't get in. It's like
that is a no.
Yeah, it's a no. He's not a Hall of Famer. I love Jimmy. He's an all-time Philly. You're not a Phillies fan if you don't love Jimmy Rollins, but he's not a Hall of Famer. I mean,
you hear it with Howard sometimes too.
I will pick up a pitchfork and a torch and riot if Utley ends up never getting into the Hall of Fame. I will come back from the grave if he ends up not ever getting in.
He'll get Utley's
he needs to get in, and I will go to his Hall of Fame induction.
Hamels has a chance, I think.
Yeah, Hamels should too. Hamels should too. His number, he was. Yeah, no, yeah.
I haven't looked at it.
59. He has 59 WAR.
Oh shit. Okay.
Hamels has an underrated Hall of Fame case. Doesn't have 200 wins. He
just never had a super ultra elite season, but just consistently,
he
4, 5
did.
F4 every season.
Well, he did 2011, but he was overshadowed by Halladay and Cliff Lee.
Yeah.
But he hit above 5 WAR a few times in 2014.
Awesome.
Yeah. So. Yeah, but no, Rollins really hurt. If Rollins could have got his hitting stats up after age 30, he finished with 24.55.
He's just kind of an average hitter for them.
But he had 2 WAR. That's 2 WAR except somehow after in 2014 he had a really good year somehow.
And I know we're getting a little off track with Rollins, but man, I remember when I would go when I was younger, because obviously when I was really going to the games and starting to actually kind of pay attention to baseball, sort of the tail end of Rollins' career. But even then, it was just every other throw from deep short. My dad just Jesus Christ, he makes that look so easy. Every time you just launch a bazooka across the a missile across the diamond to get somebody. It just truly people didn't really appreciate it enough at the time.
Felt so steady.
Outstandingly good he was.
He
was so good.
Just his offense just didn't.
It just wasn't good enough.
So we got one more question in for this episode. We got this one from Heartbroken and Disappointed. This is, I think, an easy one to end it up with. Do you expect the Phillies to be good and or have a chance to make a run next year? Yes. Phillies probably are going to be good next year.
Yes.
I
think they're going to be very good next year.
I don't know, because you don't know. Because if they don't sign JT, what the hell we do with catcher?
I mean, you can argue that it's better for the Phillies to not be good next year and just to admit that next year
I don't know that
down year.
I think that's the problem I'm wrestling with that.
But they're not going to do that because they have the All-Star game and they don't want people to cancel season tickets. The Phillies aren't going to just do what they probably should do
I
and
know,
take a year to
I know,
slow
I know,
down.
I know. Can we talk about how dumb it was for them to not take an All-Star game just to guarantee 2026? Like, how many teams have had multiple since 2004? Like, it was the dumbest thing. Like, oh, we're just going to wait until 200. They could have had it in 2007
Right.
or 2006. Like, and then have it in too. The ballpark is nowhere near as nice with all the stupid ads and the ass plumber shit all over the goddamn flower beds. It's
Yes.
just, it's like, it makes no sense why we didn't have an all. Like, and then so now we're stuck with it when we're, it's just they should have had an All-Star game then and now. They probably would have got it now too for the same reason they did. What was Montgomery thinking? I have no idea what anyone in this ownership was just like, because the rule was when you were building a stadium at that time was you were guaranteed an All-Star game.
Yep. You know,
So,
I think with regards to this
Yeah.
season taking a year off, with the likely lockout coming in 2027, I just emotionally, this isn't even my brain is completely shut off for this argument. I wouldn't want to see them sort of punt the last year of Zach Wheeler as a Philly, which may well be next year. Yeah, if he even pitches. But like, if he does pitch, it could be his last year as a Philly if there's a year-long lockout in 2027, which
Right.
I don't think is a zero possibility. And that would just sort of hurt for me to see them just sort of punt it. And I do think this team is still good enough to, if they make if they have a good offseason and, Painter or Crawford just look decent next year, to make a run still. It's hard to predict because, age and regression and injuries. And you could very well end up with next year or 2012 if, they don't have the best offseason and there's injuries and such and enough people regress. Yeah. But, I don't think there's a age of darkness circa 2013 to 2017, 2018 coming around the corner anytime soon.
Yeah, no. At worst, they will be mediocre next year because their starting pitching, assuming everyone's healthy, will be good enough to win. Like most, so it's just if is the offense going to just crater from a few guys being like.
And hot take, I think Dave Dombrowski has pissed off Bryce Harper enough to give Bryce Harper a little more motivation next season, and he's going to be better next year than this year. I think
that was the whole goal. When the first thing it
happened, I think that was the goal. Dave Dombrowski just went out there and was like, "How can I piss off Bryce Harper in this press conference?"
I hope.
Yeah,
I don't think he's that good anymore.
Yeah, the dumb thing was not talk to him afterwards, but I agree that was the right thing to say out loud for Harper to hear, because it was true. He was not clutch last year.
Yeah, there was no lie, right?
Nope, no lie.
He was he even said he was still a very good hitter last year, but can he continue doing it? That was the question. That's what he said out loud. He didn't say he was bad. He was questioning if he can continue to live up to his level.
Right. Cue the Rocky IV training montage, right?
Yeah, which is perfectly fine to stay with the way Harper has hit in the past few postseasons.
Right.
In the big spots, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that is all the questions that we got for today. So I think we'll begin wrapping this episode up, unless any of you guys have anything else that you want to add for this episode.
I think I'm good.
Cool. We had a busy week this week, right?
Yes. Very busy.
Anything for you, Jeremy?
Yeah. I've just been playing a lot of Arc Raiders.
There you go. Yeah. Sounds good. I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions, comments for anything in the future, feel free to join our Discord server. Link is going to be in the show notes, and get your questions in there in the podcast channel. We'll be back at some point next week, discuss whatever is happening at that time. So thank you all for listening. I hope you have a great weekend. Talk to you again real soon.